Hi everyone, and welcome to another marvelous video. The Amazon Prime TV series The Boys has been doing pretty well every season, and the fact it follows a storyline of its own makes it thrilling to watch with suspense. It's not just with the plot and events, but also with the main characters of the story arc that are quite different from the source material. Many characters of the Seven were completely different in the comics, with very little contribution to the storyline. As the title suggests, in today's video, we will be talking about one of the constant members of the Seven, A-Train. Season 4 is going to give him a tough time as his moral code has made him do things that are essentially an act of betrayal to the all-powerful and ruthless Homelander. However, in the comics, he was a complete jerk and quite different from the TV series. So, without any further delay, let us spot 12 important differences between A-Train in the comics and the TV series. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
You want an autograph or something?
Ethnicity. Talking about differences, ethnicity could be cited as one of them. A-Train, in the comics, was a white American, while the TV show portrayed him as an African American. The Boys TV show did not hold back from highlighting any controversial or sensitive issue, and racism was one of them. A-Train's ethnicity was not just changed for the sake of it, but it also gave him a stronger character than his comic book counterpart. While in the comics, he was simply a jerk, A-Train's ethnicity and origins do play a lot in the events taking place around him. Although A-Train in the TV show started as a fame-hungry, Compound V-addicted and ruthless member of the Seven, his origins have been slowly contributing to bringing him back to his roots. In Season 2, Stormfront, being a racist, made sure A-Train shouldn't be brought back into the Seven. When A-Train was brought back into the Seven, Vought sought to make it an opportunity to showcase how the company is against racism and respects all cultures and used A-Train to establish it. However, in Season 3, A-Train briefly takes a stand for his people and gives Blue Hawk a deserved death for his assault on African Americans. Unlike the TV show, the Boys comics did not dedicate much detail to characters like A-Train or the Deep. Garth Ennis focused on the struggle between Butcher and Homelander, leaving the least detailing about A-Train's past. Origins. As mentioned earlier, the comics have never really given an origin story of A-Train. The comic issue starts with A-Train already being a member of the Seven. He was once a member of the superhero team the Teenage Kicks, and was known for his reckless and arrogant acts with no sense of accountability. In the comics, he was one of the 3 members of the Seven who sexually abused the new member, Starlight. A-Train's nature never really changed, and he died at the hands of an enraged Hughie. Although the TV show started off the same, with A-Train as a member of the Seven, they gave information about his past in bits and pieces. His real name was Reggie Franklin, and he was born on January 14th, 1987. Like most other soups, Reggie's parents accepted Vaught's offer of injecting infant Reggie with Compound V, following which he began showing powers at the age of 3. Reggie was born into a poor family, especially after the death of his father. His mother had to work 2 jobs in order to earn a livelihood and was raised by his brother, Nathan. While Compound V granted individuals various kinds of superpowers by toying with their DNA, it wasn't any different for Reggie. Dude turns into a speedster. At the age of 3, he outran the bullets of a deadly shooter, and since then, he was put into training by his brother Nathan. Reggie's powers began bringing him fame, and he eventually landed up in the superhero team Teenage Kicks, taking the alias A-Train. There, he fell in love with a fellow member, Popclaw, and we know how it went along. After leaving Teenage Kicks, A-Train was admitted to the prestigious Godalkin University under the membership of Richard Brinkerhoff. He was stated by Richard to be one of the most driven students he had ever taught, and A-Train was indeed one of the best students of Godalkin University. How they got into the Seven. Being in the Seven is like one of the biggest dreams of soups. It is considered the zenith of fame, power, and respect for soups. When it comes to A-Train, his entry in the 7 has been different in the comics and in the TV show. In the Boys TV show, the 7 always had a speedster. It started off with Mr. Marathon, who was later replaced by A-Train in the year 2015 after he graduated from Godalming University. There was no detailed reason as to why Mr. Marathon was replaced, and he was replaced because A-Train emerged out to be faster than him. It can be deduced from the events that showcased A-Train losing his place to Shockwave owing to his heart disease. Mr. Marathon was also replaced by A-Train in the comics, but the reasons were very different. During the early days of the 7, Mr. Marathon was their speedster who was blessed with a sense of accountability but not fit for being in the 7. During the 9/11 crisis, Jack from Jupiter wanted to flee the scene, but Mr. Marathon forced him to stay. Soon after, when he informed a reluctant Homelander that Vought America would fire them if they left the scene, the latter broke the plane in half, killing Mr. Marathon. Following this, Vought America introduced A-Train to the 7 as the new speedster. Personality. There is no argument if we say that A-Train from the TV show has a better personality than his comic book counterpart. There's much depth as a character when we talk about Jesse T. Usher's A-Train, and we can see a slow and gradual transformation in the character. He started as a member of the 7, excessively greedy for fame and wealth, but his worst trait was his compound V addiction, fueling his insecurity about preserving his place as the fastest man alive. His greed for fame did cause rifts in the family, and he was often burdened with the ruthless acts and events he was associated with Homelander. A-Train stood up against Blue Hawk for his racial profiling and torture, and at the end of Season 3, he was shown to be killing him as well. He endured humiliating experiences, like performing a demeaning scene in a movie to mitigate public backlash. One of the main tragedies of A-Train was when he had to kill his love interest, Popclaw, as she was the only one with evidence of his compound V addiction. After Deep, A-Train was also removed from the 7 for a short period, but unlike the Deep, he was not sycophantic. He was disgusted by the Deep's groveling behavior toward Alistair Adana. While they were both in the Church of the Collective, and thanks to the death of Stormfront, he was taken to the 7 once again. There were many incidents that brought change in A-Train's life. The way Hughie saved his life, how his brother was severely injured owing to Blue Hawk's actions, and many more. The change was a result of a constant inner struggle that he dealt with throughout the run. On the contrary, A-Train in the comics was a jerk and a sociopath. His personality was extremely disturbing, and on numerous occasions, he showcased an immature, reckless nature for which even Homelander was irritated about it. Sense of morality. It is clearly evident that A-Train has developed a sense of morality over the years in the Boys TV show. While A-Train was upset about the accident with Hughie's girlfriend, his comic book counterpart had no remorse. He even joked about it in Vought Towers with Homelander. Apart from this, A-Train's sense of morality and accountability is well displayed in Season 4 of The Boys. In Season 4, A-Train is shown growing disillusioned with his false image as a hero and Vaught's exploitation of his private life for public approval. Harsh criticism from his brother and increasing harassment from the unstable Homelander had become a part of his daily life, for which he sought redemption to become a true hero. He cooperates with the boys, providing access to Vaught's data and a sample of Compound V to help Hughie save his father's life. On the contrary, there was zero sense of morality in A-Train's comic book counterpart. He boasted about his actions that caused harm to others. In the TV show, where only Deep was there to sexually harass Starlight, the comics had a different take. A-Train was also part of the trio who sexually assaulted Starlight when she joined the 7. He later threatened Starlight for repeating such things, which summed up A-Train being an extremely degrading character. Everyone disliked him, and his only friend was Jack the Jupiter, whom he betrayed later. In the final pages of the comics, A-Train made another advance towards Starlight, which cost him his eye and a capture at the hands of Butcher. In his final moments, he begged for mercy but was killed by Hughie who kicked his head off his shoulders. The accident with Hughie's girlfriend. Although we spoke about A-Train being the cause of death for Hughie's girlfriend, the two events were completely different from one another. In the comics, while Hughie and his girlfriend were merely having a good day, an individual came flying at her. Hughie was then holding her hands, and the momentum was so high that it led to her being smashed against the adjacent wall while her two arms remained with Hughie. The event left Hughie with trauma, while A-Train simply left the scene. It seemed that A-Train was chasing a criminal, and the fact that he had no sense of responsibility made him commit a serious villainy act in a place of full innocent civilians. Now, in the comics, it was different. They showed A-Train as a Compound V addict, and he had his discreet sources get him his substance. Season 1, Episode 1 began with Hughie and their girlfriend planning their marriage when a high and intoxicated A-Train ran through Hughie's girlfriend, reducing her to a pile of flesh and blood. This led to Hughie joining the boys and the events that followed in the series.
Man, come alone. Next time, there's not gonna be a next time, but next time, have at least a few calls.
Equation with Hughie. A-Train's equation with Hughie started off as an arch enemy, and it is only in the TV series that the dispute was shown to be resolved. Losing his girlfriend in the most horrible way possible set Hughie on a path of vengeance against Soups. Joining the boys, Hughie had made encounters with A-Train where he barely made it out alive, thanks to his quick thinking and luck. During one such encounter, A-Train suffered a cardiac arrest, and Hughie, despite hating him from the core of his heart, chose to take him to the hospital. When A-Train later encountered Hughie during Herogasm, he tried to apologize for killing his girlfriend, but in vain, as Hughie chose never to forgive him. After suffering from numerous threats and humiliation from Homelander, along with some harsh reality checks from his brother Nathan, A-Train decided to try doing something better. In Season 4, A-Train is shown to be inclining towards the boys. He first gave them the footage to bail out falsely accused Starlight supporters. And then, on Hughie's request, he brought him some Compound V from Homelander's secret rack, risking his own life. After handing Hughie the vial of Compound V, Hughie forgave A-Train for his past actions. That is till Episode 5 of Season 4, and we will be seeing what there is to come next. In the comics, it was completely different. A-Train and Hughie remained arch enemies till the end before the former's demise. Unlike the TV show, A-Train was one of the members of the Seven who sexually assaulted Starlight, who later dated Hughie. A-Train later tried to force himself on Starlight, which ended up getting him captured by Butcher. As Homelander tasked all the Soups to assist him in his coup, A-Train, being secluded, was brought before Hughie by Butcher and revealed how he has never cared for any of his crimes and considered Hughie and his loved ones as insects. Butcher played a recording of a conversation between Homelander and A-Train in which they joked about killing Hughie's girlfriend and later about their reason for choosing Starlight, and it was enough for Hughie to snap. He kicked A-Train in the neck so hard that it tore his head off his shoulder. Equation with Starlight. It is pretty obvious that Starlight and A-Train did not have a good equation. However, in the TV show, it was far better than that in the comics. In the comics, A-Train was terrible towards Starlight. Leaving aside the sexual assaults, he was never good to her. In one such instant, Homelander had tasked A-Train and Starlight to clean the Vought Tower basement. As they continued with the task, there were bits and pieces of how A-Train was apathetic towards her. His harsh words and threats of assaulting her again made him a complete jerk in the Seven. However, in the TV series, it was quite different as there was much depth in their version of A-Train. Firstly, he never made any sexual advances on Starlight. They did start as enemies, but the connection certainly improved after A-Train helped Starlight free her peaceful protesters of false accusations.
Please just go.
Equation with Homelander. Homelander is the leader of the Seven and the strongest Soup in the boys' universe. If not respected, everyone feared him, and it was the same with A-Train. He had no issue with him in the comics as he mostly did what was asked of him, and Homelander considered him as useless as the Deep. However, His growing immaturity was often firmly pointed out by Homelander. In the TV show, things are otherwise. Homelander still considers him worthless, but he is really harsh to him almost all the time. There are barely a few occasions where Homelander spoke to A-Train without humiliating. On one occasion, when A-Train murmured a retort, Homelander grabbed his neck and was almost about to laser him dead. Although until now it seems that things are cool between the two, we all know there is soon going to arrive a conflict between them, a deadly one. A-Train has betrayed Homelander by leaking the footage that saved Starlight supporters, and secondly, by sneaking into his room and stealing a vial of Compound V for Hughie. In the coming episodes, we might just see a clash between the two, and while Homelander is the strongest there is, A-Train is the fastest man alive, and that too, with the super-enabled heart of Blue Hawk, it is one of the most anticipated scenarios, and we hope to see it soon. Speed. The two A-Trains were not just different in terms of personality or morals, but also in their max speeds. In the comics, A-Train clocked a speed of 1,000 miles per hour, while his TV show counterpart was shown to be able to pull off a max speed of 767 miles per hour with little or no effort. In the comics, A-Train hardened his body under immense pressure through a process called dilatancy, which presumably gave him the ability to run at inhuman speed. Moving to the TV show, it was stated that at the age of 3, A-Train had dodged bullets, which traveled roughly from 818 miles an hour to 2,075 miles per hour. However, in the race against Shockwave, A-Train clocked a maximum speed of 829.9 miles per hour. A-Train's love interest. In the comics, A-Train was never shown having a relationship or anything of that sort, and introducing Popclaw as his love interest was only created for the TV show. He met Popclaw during his days with the Teenage Kicks, and they shared a relationship for quite some time, but only in secret. They eventually had a rough time fueled by A-Train's refusal to ask Madeline Stillwell's permission to make the relationship public. Popclaw was deeply frustrated by A-Train's reluctance to acknowledge their relationship openly, leading to feelings of rejection and a sense of betrayal. Apart from this, Popclaw was strongly against A-Train's continued use of Compound V, stating that he did not need the drug to maintain his status as the fastest speedster. Things became worse after Butcher and the boys began blackmailing Popclaw into revealing information about A-Train's Compound V runs. It eventually escalated the issue, leading to critical information being leaked out that went against Vought. Soon, A-Train's anxiety began taking over him. He could not allow his Compound V addiction to leak out in public, and the only way to stop it was to kill his love, Popclaw. He reluctantly did it, and he staged it to show that she died of a drug overdose. The event thoroughly disturbed A-Train, and it marked the slow and gradual change in him that we see in Season 4.
He's a human. He's just like the rest of us. We all make mistakes, right?
Weaknesses. When we talk about strengths, weaknesses are also an important topic of discussion, especially when there's a comparison. One of the most significant weaknesses of A-Train in the comics was his lack of training. He even stated that he did not have much control while moving at high speed. He could perform basic tasks at high speed, as he never had the ability to control his powers though. He was not that durable, and his strength was on the lower end of the soups. In the TV show, one of A-Train's most significant weaknesses is in his mind. He is shown to be consumed by himself and his ego, for which he often harmed himself. Needless to mention his obsession for being at the top of all speedsters, which also gave shape to his insecurities about losing his place. One of the most significant physical weaknesses was his heart, but that issue was solved after it was replaced with Blue Hawk's super-enabled heart. Marvelous verdict. So, we have finally come to the end of the video, and we hope you've enjoyed our content. The Boys TV show has been doing phenomenally well, and its divergence from the source material brings more thrill and suspense to it. In Season 4, A-Train has been one of the most interesting characters, and he is surely going to gain some limelight in the ongoing season. Feel free to add your views in the comments section and share your favorite A-Train moment in the series. Thank you for watching the video until the end, and stay tuned for the next Marvelous video. Also, if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. Thanks, everyone.